Hello and welcome to the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. My name is Issachar Bey. I am the founder and I am the senior director. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Please, if you haven't done so, please hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button. We are trying to start this campaign to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help us out by subscribing, that would be an honor, and we are forever grateful. If this is your first time listening to us, please, by all means, let us know in the chat what city, what state, what country you're listening in from. We would love to hear you, and we want to say thank you and welcome. If this is your first time. Also, if this teaching or any of our teachings has ever been any kind of a benefit to you, has really gave you great insight, great in-depth, please, by all means, hit that share button, copy the link, email it, text it to your friends. Let them know that we're here every week, same time, same place, and we are forever grateful. We are moving forward. Every week we go to a higher depth, a higher level, a deeper depth. I feel like we are at a great place. It is my intention that today's teaching will bring some kind of an awareness, enlightenment to somebody who's been struggling with the issues that we talk about, the different things that we deal with on a conscious, on the subconscious, on the intangible or the tangible level. And so it's imperative that we take the initiative to go through the things that we need to go through and to get these things into retrospect. One of the things that I want to do also is I want to thank all of you for your contributions, your donations. I am forever grateful. And it's been an honor. It's been of great admiration, we have great gratitude towards all of the givers and those who have financially supported our ministry, our organization, those of you that have commented during the week and sent out messages via Facebook, via Instagram, via YouTube, all of your emails and so forth. We are forever grateful. We want to say thank you. As we get ready to get into today's teaching, I want us to get into a quiet place, a place of rest, a place of surrender, a place of quietness, of stillness. And as we get into that quiet place, I want you to take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Once again, I want you to take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Once again, take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. I turn within to the infinite presence, the one mind, the source of all love, truth, and divine order. This presence is whole, harmonious, and never confused. It expresses only perfection and reflects back only what is true. I now recognize that this divine presence dwells within me, as me, and flows through every relationship in my life. I affirm that I do not attract what I want, I attract what I am conscious of. If I have attracted somebody who dishonors me, I now release the false idea that I am unworthy of love. If I have drawn to me what is chaotic, inconsistent, and unkind, I now uproot every belief that says I must settle for less than sacred union. I bless the past. I no longer repeat it. I declare that I declare that I am ready to align my relationships with truth. I attract who I am at the level of consciousness, so I now raise that vibration. I love myself deeply. I honor my boundaries. I see myself as worthy, whole, radiant, and divine. and I change my inner dialogue. I change my outer experience. I no longer seek fulfillment in another. I come to every relationship full, not empty. I am no longer projected to perform. I simply align with love, and love answers back in kind. I magnetize relationships that are healthy, harmonious, spiritual, rooted, and emotionally safe. I realize this word into perfect law, knowing that it is already done. I walk forward, no longer attracting from wounds, but from wisdom, no longer from need, but from knowing. I am a living magnet for the kind of love that reflects the divine within me. And so it is, and so it is. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please hit the like button. Please help us out in our campaign. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. If you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that would help us out greatly. And if this or any of our other teachings have been a blessing, have been beneficial to you, go ahead and hit the share button and copy the link and share it by either text, email, to some of your friends, loved ones, or family members. Today, I want to go a little step higher. I want to deal with something that I feel is very important in this day and time. I want to talk about the subject, why do I attract the wrong person in my relationships? I don't know about anybody else here, but I can attest to this. I can say that I've done this sometimes, and so I don't know how many of you have done it as well. But I want to really take a deep dive into this today and really discuss, why do I attract the wrong person in my relationships? I want to talk about Brenda. Let's take a look at Brenda. Brenda had just moved to a new city. She wanted a fresh start. She got a new apartment, a new job, starting with a clean slate. With a heart full of hope and her vision board covered in images of her soulmate, Sunday brunches, candlelight dinners, and companionship that felt like home. She wasn't just looking for love, she was searching for her destiny. She wanted depth, she wanted her person. And then, almost like magic, he appeared. Derek was his name. He was charming, but not overbearing. He was articulate, magnetic. He called her sunlight in the human body. He remembered all the small things she said. He sent voice notes at midnight. He quoted poetry. He smelled like cheddar and whispered like the honey. Brenda was captivated. She believed with every affirmation in her journal that this was it. But then things shifted. The calls slowed down. The tone changed. The attentiveness vanished. Affection became obligations. Presence became delay. Consistency turned into confusion. Suddenly, Brenda found herself second guessing her intuition, rereading her texts for hidden meanings, praying over unread messages. And one night, with a prayer in her heart, she sat on the cold bathroom floor, phone in hand, hovering over a message that she just read. And it said, I thought we had something real, but she didn't send it. Because in that moment, something deeper surfaced. Why does this feel familiar? Why do I always end up here? The city had changed, the scenery had changed, but the pattern had not. It stayed the same. The pain felt recycled. The heartbreak felt familiar. That night, Brenda didn't vent to her friends. She didn't run to a new distraction. So she sat in front of the mirror and asked the most revolutionary question she had ever dared to ask. What is it about me that keeps attracting this? Not with blame, not with shame, but with bold curiosity. With bold curiosity. And then it hit her. I've been trying to fix the men, change the settings, start over in new places, but the truth is, I attract what I believe I deserve. I attract what I'm aligned with. I attract what I am. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't unlucky. She was simply vibrating at a frequency that called in what she thought was love, but really it was an emotional auditioning. So she did her bravest thing that she had ever done. She didn't go back. She didn't chase clarity from someone committed to confusion. Instead, she turned inwardly. Brenda began to heal. She started journaling, not just about what she wanted, but why she kept ignoring what she didn't. She forgave the girl inside who thought love had to be earned. She reprogrammed the part of her that mistook anxiety for chemistry. She learned to love herself with a fullness that left no room for breadcrumbs. And then, when she wasn't looking, love found her. This time it came gently, respectfully, slowly. He wasn't loud, but he was present. He didn't chase, but he chose. And Brenda, now whole, didn't lose herself in the moment. She checked her reflection. Is this a resonance or is this just routine? And for the first time, the answer was peace. Because when you heal, you stop attracting projects, you start attracting partnerships. When you evolve, your love life must follow. And so, this is a story about Brenda, who many of us can probably attest to, witness to, have experienced some of the same things that Brenda went through. But I want to take a deep dive into this because I believe that this particular subject is a very important subject in today with relationships and people wanting to find love and looking for love. Now, let me say this before we even get started. I hear people say all the time, I'm never dating again. Love hurt me. I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, love can never hurt you. It is impossible for love to hurt you. The person that you are in a relationship with or that you were dating, they hurt you. But love can never hurt. Love is too powerful. Love is the healer. And I think that we are getting out of context here, because when you can't make the statement that love hurt me because you don't realize that you are love. And I want to get into that today, and I might not get into it fully like I want to today, but I really want to get into the context of what we look at as love being. A lot of us are looking for love and don't realize that we are love. And we're looking outside of ourselves for love when we don't realize that we are love. So you're never going to find love until you find yourself. And when you find yourself, you find love. There's no separation. But I think that there has to be an understanding and a dynamic here of understanding what love is. But anyway, getting back to the story, Derek wasn't a mistake. He was a mirror. Every wrong person is a reality, is really a right lesson. Derek was Brenda's subconscious materialized. Every wrong person is really a right lesson. So I've often said this, that the more you date, the more you go on dates, and the more you date people, the more you find out about yourself. Because when you date people, you only attract who you are. It brings an awareness and an enlightenment to who you are. What red flags go up, different things that happen, it lets you kind of know what's going on with you, because you are attracting this. Attraction is a mirror, not a mystery. You don't find people, you call them in. So keep that in mind. We don't find people, we call them in, consciously or not. You attract people in, you pull it in. And we have to make an understanding of that, is that you meet nobody in this world but you. What that means, everybody on this call was supposed to be on this call. Everybody who's going to share this message to somebody who needs to hear this, they needed to hear this. It was meant to be. It was already meant for them to hear this message. So it's almost like this person is pulling this message to them because they needed to hear it at this time and at this place. Now, I would like to say that we are in the middle of the year. We're at the middle mark. We're coming into today is the first day of June, and we are in the 6th month. We're in the halfway point of the year. What greater time than the present to get our relationships together? When we talk about relationships and what we attract, a lot of us don't like what we attract. That's why we have to learn how to heal the wound that mistakes chaos for chemistry. If you grew up around inconsistency, then certainty may feel boring. Brenda had to redefine what safety felt like. You don't want a savior. You want a mirror that sees you. Stop waiting to be rescued. Real love doesn't save, it sees. And so let me stop and say this. I really need to, next week I need to do a part 2 to this, or maybe just do a series on the evolution of love, right? Because what I believe we call love is not love. What I mean by that is most people on this call will tell me that, oh, this person bought me a gift, this gentleman bought me some roses, he bought me a purse, he took me to dinner, he did all these wonderful things, and he loved me. I don't think that that's love. I think that that's a byproduct, and I think that's what we assume love is, or we believe that love can only be displayed by acts. Keep in mind that you are love. Love is an intangible energy. It's an intangible power. And so we have taken that intangible power, that intangible energy, and now we're trying to make it a physical, tangible thing. And so when we get gifts and when we get those things in us, or those physical those, those those physical attributes that are done to us and are done for us, we consider those things to be, oh, this person loves me because they did those things. But even in the Bible, when the Bible talks about love, let me tell you what it tells love is, when it talks about love. When a person comes to me and says, Issachar, we want to get counseling, we're going to get married, and we look at their destiny in their life, and we look at what their incarnation, what their gifts and their talents are for each one of the bride and the groom. I begin to counsel them and see, where do they see, what is their plan together? What are we doing together? One of the things that I tell all married couples is this: love covers a multitude of faults. I want you to listen to this. Love covers the multitude of faults. Now, what that means is that at some point in the marriage, love will begin to show itself. But listen, love is not coming to buy you gifts. Love is not coming to take you on an expensive trip. And love is not going to buy you a diamond necklace. And love is not buying you a purse and buying you shoes and clothes. No, no, no. Love covers the multitude of faults. That means over the course of marriage, love will be experienced. Love will be shown by its needing and its necessity to cover the multitude of faults that will take place in the relationship. And so if you can understand that small phrase right there, you'll understand that, wait a minute, love is not, what we call love could be lust, it could be infatuation. But and I really want to stay to the story, because the story is about Brenda and her trying to find a soulmate. But at the same time, I understand that the biggest thing with finding a relationship is that the biggest thing we're looking at is love. And I think that we have to understand what love really is. I want to talk about the law of energetic agreement. You only attract what your soul agrees with. Raise your standards, and your soul must cancel old contracts. You only attract what your soul agrees with. Raise your standard, and your soul must cancel old contracts. What that means is that when you raise your standard, that means that you are no longer agreeing to be the person that you used to be, or that you are into the things that you used to be into. And so by you making those changes, you're now cutting ties with the old contracts, with the old wants and the old desires, right? Your energy signs the love contract before your hands do. I'm going to say that again. Your energy signs the love contract before your hands do. Let me tell you why. I just explained to you. Love is an intangible energy. It's an intangible power. It's an intangible power. I want to bring up. There's a great quote that I love by Rumi. Let me see if I can find it here. When he talks about love. Let's see if we can find it here. Okay, so Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love. So in this world, your mission is not to seek for love. Nobody should be looking or seeking or desiring love. You shouldn't be seeking for it. He says, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against love. That's powerful right there. I'll say that again. Rumi says, your task in this world is not to seek love, but to merely seek and find the barriers within yourself, the barriers that you have created, the barriers within yourself that you have built against love. Because when you remove those barriers and you remove those barriers and you break those barriers down, you realize that there's a oneness with love, that love is this energy. Love is this intangible energy, this intangible frequency that each of us are. We say, oh, this person doesn't love me because they did this, or this person didn't love me. And what you have to understand, love can never hurt anybody. So the person that hurt you is the person that hurt you. They didn't understand who they were in the relationship. They didn't understand how to operate in their awareness of love. They didn't understand, or they didn't understand how to handle the relationship with you, and so they hurt you. But love can never hurt. Love heals. In the end, love always wins. I don't care if we're talking war, any kind of mischief, anything. At the end of the day, love always wins in the end. You know, energy doesn't lie, and neither does self-abandonment. Energy doesn't lie, and neither does self-abandonment. You got to make sure you understand this, because you can walk into a room and feel like the energy is not right. You know, when you really lock in, you can feel like something is off. The energy is not right here. Even when you meet somebody, you can say, I met him, but his energy, something was wrong about her. Her energy wasn't right. His energy wasn't right. I met the gentleman that you hooked me up with, the girl that say I hooked up with the guy, and for whatever reason, the energies just wasn't, it was something, But I want you to know this. Listen. Many people on this phone could say, you know what, I really want to be in a relationship because I don't want to be lonely anymore, and I want to be in a soulmate. I want to be in a relationship. I want you to know this. There are many people in this world who are married and they're still alone. So I want you to keep that in mind. There are many people right now married, laying in the bed with another person, and they are still lonely. Loneliness is a request for inner reunion. Loneliness is a request for inner reunion. Brenda had to sit with herself. The soul often whispers when we're finally still. That's why it's great importance that you get into a quiet place. That's why even before we start the teaching, I get you into a quiet place, and we kind of try to tap in, breathe out. We get into a real relaxed state. Why? Because when we get into tap into source, we get to open our spiritual eyes and we get to open our spiritual ears. And something that's being said today is going to help somebody out in a relationship. Somebody listening to me right now, they want to get a relationship. They want to get a soulmate. They want to find the person, the love of their life. And by listening to what I'm saying, and you may have to listen to this a few times, you will start implementing and applying some things to you, because what happens is when you listen to this kind of teaching, your eyes begin to open, your ears begin to open, and you are now shifting and changing. You are not being rejected. You are being realigned. So keep in mind that in a relationship, if it didn't work out, and you felt like you were being rejected. You really like this person, and then you found out that they really wasn't the person that you thought they were, and you feel like you're being rejected. I want you to realize you're not being rejected. You're being realigned. Let me tell you why. I said this earlier, that the more you date, the more you learn about yourself. The more you learn about yourself. Every misaligned relationship is a directional sign. Turn inward. I'll say that again. Every misaligned relationship is a directional sign to turn inward. And that's what we teach here at the Temple of Enlightenment. We teach you to go within. If you go within, I say this all the time, if you fail to go within, you must learn to live without. If you fail to go within, you must learn to live without. Why? Because everything you need is going to be within. It's going to be within. You can't be chosen if you keep choosing less than yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't be chosen if you keep choosing less than yourself. Let me say this. Everybody could be chosen. The man, the woman. But a lot of times we choose less than us. And we have to look at that. Brenda had to stop shrinking to be seen. You can't choose less than who you are. You can only attract what you are. And so if you are attracting, when Brenda met the guy Derek, everything started off right. Why? Because when you meet a person, you never meet the original person. See, when you go out, if somebody, those of you that are listening right now, if you go out this afternoon after listening to this and you have a date scheduled with somebody, and let's say you guys met on the app, let's say that somebody doing a blind date or somebody's connecting you to go out on a date with somebody, and you go out on the date with that person, you're not really meeting that person. You're meeting a representation of that person, because in the beginning, everybody puts a mask on. Everybody puts a mask on because they don't want you to really know who they are, and you're trying to fill each other out. You're trying to see, do I like her? How's her personality? How is his personality? He's very attractive. He dresses very nice. She dresses very nice. She smells good. She looks fabulous. She has long hair, beautiful eyes, all that stuff, right? We put on the mask. And so that's why in the beginning, Brenda was like, everything is going great. But as time goes on, we get to the realness here. You train people how to treat you by what you settle for. I'll say that again. You train people how to treat you by what you settle for. If you are the person that always buy yourself nice clothes, you always go to nice places, you take good care of yourself, anybody that's going to do anything for you, they're going to say, wait a minute, oh man, you know what, I really got to put something nice together because this person really takes care of themselves. They really buy nice things for themselves. They really, do everything on a high level. And so that's how you treat people. But guess what? That same thing that I'm talking about happens when you meet people. You train people how to treat you by what you settle for. So you have to ask yourself the question, what am I settling for? Because even when you meet somebody that you're going to be dating or in a relationship with, when you first meet that person, you're also training them how to treat you based on what you settle for. Vice versa. Vice versa. Every toleration is an energetic broadcast. Every toleration is an energetic broadcast. You can't you have to understand that whatever it is that I tolerate is what I'm teaching people how I want to be treated. So are you tolerating drama? Are you tolerating discord? Are you tolerating incompleteness? When you start to look at what you settle for in life, that also moves and shifts in every aspect of your life. Because, and this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you can't fool nobody when it comes to this kind of stuff. And what I mean by this, ladies, yes, you look pretty with the makeup. Yes, you look pretty with the hair, the nice bag, and the clothes. But if you feel insecure, if you feel unworthy, if you don't like how you feel about yourself, and you think that you're ugly, you think that you're overweight, and you have all of these insecurities, you got to realize that no matter how great you look in the physical aspect, we are all walking mirrors. So what happens is when you start getting out and want to date somebody, you're going to now start magnetizing the insecurities. Because, yeah, you look good with the makeup and the hair and all of that stuff, but you forgot that you're walking around insecure. You're walking around broken. You're walking around feeling depressed. And so now you're going to attract that. You're going to attract what you are, not what you want to be, not what you should be, not what you could be. You're going to attract exactly what you are. And so now the frustration comes because now you feel like, oh, my God, I'm with all of these great people and we all look great and everything is going great, but I still am not getting the person that I want. And you're never going to get out of life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You're only going to get out of life what you become. Self-love looks like silence, distance, and boundaries. Yes, self-love looks like, that's what it looks like. And if you want to write this in the chat, self-love looks like silence, distance, and boundaries. These are the things that you're going to have to start implementing when you talk about you love yourself and self-love and self-care. People will take care of you how you take care of yourself. And we see it all the time. I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening to me, you have some friends of yours, some family members, some coworkers who have a very expensive taste. They buy themselves luxury items. They buy high-priced stuff. They always wear luxury clothes. They always do things on a big scale. When you get ready to do something for them, you're not going to go just do anything. You're going to have to sit down and really think, like, what can I get for this person? Because everything they do is on a high level. What that person is doing is showing you how to take care of them. You have to do the same thing. You have to now start implementing self-care and creating that silence, that distance, and those boundaries so that you can do your own self-care and your own self-love. Healing is louder than begging. Healing is louder than begging. And that's the most important part, because once you become healed, ladies and gentlemen, once you become healed, what happens is in your healing, you have now, that thing is no longer a part of you. That thing is no longer a thorn in your side. It's no longer something that will corrupt you or that will irritate you, because you have now been healed. So you got to really take a look at that and really move into that atmosphere of being able to implement self-love, self-care. There is there is no the one without you becoming the one first. The one without you becoming the one first. So keep that in mind. There is the one without you becoming the one first. You have to become what it is that you want first. I often say this to people all the time when they come to me and be like, oh, I want a woman that's, 6'1", nice shape, curves, long hair, blue eyes, all of this stuff, and that's great. I've always told people when you want to attract a person in your life, write down the characteristics, the qualities that you want of that person. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you have to become those qualities and those things on the list, because you can only attract what you are. I can't write down honest, loving, honest, loving, cheerful, grateful, kind, generous, loving, and write all those things down. And I'm not any of those things, and I have not stepped into walk into my becoming. I can't do that, because what happens now is that those are the things that I want. But I think that a lot of times we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, because we have been shown this story tell on TV, on media, all these stories, these love stories, these movies, these books that we've been told about how love is supposed to be and how love really is and all of these things. But when you get into the real world and get in relationships, you get frustrated because you're going by what you saw on TV or what you saw in a love book, and that's not reality. So you have to realize that you create your own reality. You create the life that you want to live, and you also have the ability to be with the person that you want to be with in this lifetime. You attract what you feel emotionally safe around. You attract what you emotionally feel, what you feel emotionally safe around. What is it that you feel emotionally safe around? That's what you will attract. Derek felt familiar because he reflected Brenda's nervous system before she reprogrammed it. See, sometimes when you have those insecurities, the depression, the brokenness, you will attract somebody, and like I said in the beginning, you don't know because you're both wearing a mask, but eventually you'll find out that, wait a minute, I thought I was attracting this nice person, great vibes, we had a great time, great conversation, we hit it off, but then you realize that the person you attracted is really you. This person is also insecure, they also have brokenness, they also have this depression, so you're attracting the same person. That's why it's important that you heal first. That you heal first, then choose again. Brenda's next partner didn't fix her. He reflected the work she had already done. When you go in to make the changes, then you will start getting the attachment. You will start getting the magnetism that will come into play. Don't attach before you align. Take your time. Rushing is often desperation in disguise. I'm going to say this again. Don't attach before you align. Take your time. Rushing is often desperation in disguise. So before I make an attachment to somebody, I want to make sure that I'm aligned with them. I want to make sure that we are aligned spiritually, emotionally. I just want to make sure that there's an alignment there. There's a spiritual alignment. There's an energy alignment. Even before anything, like we talked about before, love is intangible. So sometimes when I hear people say, oh, this person loves me so much, look what they did for me. Love is an intangible thing. So anytime somebody mentions love with something tangible, It's a byproduct of love. It's not love. But when we talk about aligning, you want to make sure that the energy is aligned. When you meet somebody and it's something, you've met people before and your energy, y'all just clicked. For whatever reason, y'all were in a room together and y'all just started talking and the energy just clicked. There was an alignment there. You always want to make sure that before you attach, you want to make sure that you align first. Boundaries are invitations to self-respect. No is sacred. No protects your yes. So yes, you have to have boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. There have to be times when you have to say no. There's going to be times when you're going to walk away. Why? Because I have self-love and I have self-respect. So I'm not going to just connect with anybody. I'm not going to just connect with everything. I have boundaries. My no is sacred. When I say no, it's a sacred no. And my no will always protect my yes. That's another message I need to teach y'all, that behind every no is a yes. But yes, the no will always protect the yes. And you have to learn how to start using your boundaries. Why? We talked about silence, distance, and boundaries are connected to self-love. And so if I'm going to connect with self-love, and I'm going to connect and begin to heal some of these things that I'm dealing with, that's why I encourage everybody to come and get a consultation so that we can discuss what we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. What things am I dealing with? There's some things that I'm dealing with that I need to work on. There's some things that I'm dealing with that I need to connect with. There's some things that I'm dealing with that I need to be healed, and I got to do the work. There's some things I'm still holding on to from childhood. There's some things I'm holding on from when I was in high school and college. There's some things that happened to me when I was a young adult. There's just things that happened in life that I haven't really fully healed from. And those things are actually kind of blocking me from being able to really move in the fullness of what it is that I want to manifest and the kind of relationships I want to attract. Stop naming red flags potential. Many of us see red flags and we say, oh, that's potential, or we really don't allow those red flags to be awareness. We don't take the awareness. We don't take those red flags seriously. Brenda had to learn love is now, not later, not maybe. And so when you are in a relationship or you're dating somebody and you see the red flags, you need to become aware of that. And don't look at that as potential, but understand, why am I seeing these red flags? What are these red flags indicating? What are they telling me? What are they teaching me about? Because remember, I only attract what I am. So if I'm dating somebody or if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I see red flags, that's an indication that's coming to me that I need to make some changes. Stop falling for their possibility and choose your reality. We can't go by possibility. We can't go, well, this might happen, this could happen. It's a possibility that we could actually work out. It's a possibility that this person is a great person. There's a possibility that this person could be trusted. We can go through all the possibilities of life. But you can't allow yourself to fall for their possibility. You must always choose your reality. Future fantasy is a form of emotional avoidance. Future fantasy is a form of emotional avoidance. And so we gotta get to a place where where we work that out. And so we have to look at that, about being into these fantasies and being into these places where we are, we have to realize that we can attract and make things happen and really maneuver and really get things going. Listen, compatibility is spiritual, not just emotional. You know what? We're so compatible. We like the same things. We have so much in common. But yes, compatibility is spiritual too. Your future doesn't need a fixer-upper. So keep that in mind. You want to move in wholeness. You want to move in boldness. You want to move in confidence. Learn how to raise your standards without apology. You are not too much. You're just not the emotional unevolved. You're just not for the emotional unevolved. So keep that in mind. You're not too much. You're just not for the emotional unevolved. So there's nothing wrong with raising your standards. There's nothing wrong with raising your level of consciousness and raising your level of awareness about yourself. Become the love you crave. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, love is an intangible power. Become the love you crave. Brenda replied, if I love myself deeply, I'll never again beg someone else to. Brenda said this, if I love myself deeply, I'll never again beg somebody else to. You never have to beg anybody to love you. You just have to learn how to love yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's about. It's about learning how to love yourself, give yourself self-validation, give yourself self-love, self-respect. The energy of wholeness attracts wholeness. The energy of wholeness will always attract wholeness. Operating in the energy of wholeness. What does wholeness mean to each one of you who are listening to me? And wholeness means that I'm not broken, that I'm complete, that I'm put together, that I'm full, that I'm solid, right? That my foundation is strong. I'm confident. I'm sure, right? You have to figure out what does wholeness mean to you. And remember that the energy of wholeness will attract wholeness. And so when you move in wholeness, you can only attract what you are. When you stop chasing, you magnetize. When you stop pleasing, you embody power. Let me say that again. When you stop chasing, you magnetize. When you stop pleasing, you embody power. Ladies and gentlemen, especially the women, you don't have to chase, you magnetize. You move in consciousness. You move as if it's already happening. I've often said this, that the Bible says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing, right? So the Bible says that a man is supposed to find his wife. It never said a girlfriend. It never said a side chick. It never said none of that. It said he that finds a wife. What that says to me is that this man, when he found this woman who he found his wife, she was already in the consciousness of being a wife. And so some of you who are listening to me, it may sound crazy, but one of the things that you may want to do is already walk around, already carry yourself as if you're in a relationship, as if you are already in this soulmate tide with somebody. Why? Because when you're in a relationship, you carry yourself different. Your consciousness is different. You move differently. You walk differently. You talk differently. as opposed to being single. Now, the reason I say this, ladies and gentlemen, because there's people who are in a relationship who are still going through the same thing that the single people do. So what does that tell you? I got people who are married, who are still who are still lonely, who are still depressed, who are still hurt, who are still broken. So that goes to tell you that even if you're physically in a relationship, you can still be single. You can still be lonely. So why not, if you are single and you want to attract a relationship, why not walk around as if you already are in a relationship, that you are already relationship magnetizing. You are already magnetizing and pulling into you the things that you want to happen. Brenda's new vow was, I only attract from alignment. I only attract from alignment, and I am in alignment, in a spiritual alignment. I only attract from an alignment, what I am in alignment with. Consciously, as I raise my level of consciousness, it shows what I am in an alignment with. Brenda now walks like she knows what she deserves. So should you. I don't need to be found. I just need to be aligned. I want you to hear that. I don't need to be found. I don't need to be seen. I just need to be aligned, because once I get in alignment, I know everything else is going to lock in with me. I just need to be aligned. And when you start walking in that alignment, you start saying things to yourself like, I am worthy of conscious, constant love. I attract emotional, mature partners. I choose myself fully. I am no longer trying to fix what's not mine. My standards are sacred. My heart is open, but my discernment is sharp. I love from overflow, not from ache. I am done repeating cycles. I attract love that reflects my healing. I am no longer available for misalignment. I am becoming the love I desire. That's powerful right there, because what that means is, yes, a lot of us want love. And when I say we desire the love, right, every one of us are love on a spiritual and tangible level. But of course, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So in the human experience, you want to experience at some aspect, some form of a physical love or affection, and that's great. But keep in mind, I'm going to become the love I desire. I talked about this earlier tonight, today, when we talked about becoming the love you crave. Become the attention you crave. Become the awareness that you crave. Become that. Because once you become that, that craving that you had will now bring it into fruition. And those of you who want to take this teaching today, and you're going to change the way you attract people into your relationships. You're no longer going to attract the wrong people into your relationships. This is what's going to happen to you. You will stop attracting partners who reflect your wounds. You will align with your higher self. You no longer settle for emotional crumbs. You will redefine what love looks like and what love feels like. You'll stop chasing and you'll start magnetizing. You will become the version of you that doesn't beg, break, or bend. You will attract not what you want, but who you have become. You will evolve from pain to power, from fantasy to fulfillment. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you no lie. If you implement this teaching today, You will no longer attract the wrong people in your relationships. You will no longer attract the wrong people in your relationships. I wish I had more time because I want to go deeper. I should make this into a series because I really want to get more deep into the aspect of love and what the definition and us to define what love is. And yes, there's many different loves. There's agape and all of that. But I think that when we understand what love is and what we're dealing in relationships. Now, we just talked about Brenda. I still want to get into the foundational aspect understanding of what a relationship is, because we still haven't covered that yet. When we say relationship, everybody thinks, oh, they're in a relationship, but what does that mean? What is a relationship? Because I think if we understand what a relationship was, it would change the dynamic of how we approach it and how we involve ourselves in it. And so I understand that's another way on another day, but I also want to put that out there. And so I want to thank all of you. Listen, if this message has been awakening for you, if it has been beneficial to you, if it has really opened some things up inside of you, I want you to go ahead and hit the like button. Also hit the share button. Share this with your friends, your family, or somebody you know that needs to hear this. And then also, I want you to help us we're on a campaign to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. We are heading for the 1,000 mark, and I want to thank all of you for helping out. If this message has been a blessing to you and you said, Brother Issachar, man, this is great. I needed to hear this. I needed to hear this 5 years ago. I needed to hear this 3 years ago. I needed to hear this 10 years ago. And you said, hey, man, I just want to be a blessing to your ministry, to your organization, and you want to sow a seed or you want to donate to our ministry and our organization, there's 4 ways you can give. And those ways are Cash App. They're also in the bottom of the description. Cash App is going to be $TOESC. That's going to be $TOESC, and that's Cash App. We also have PayPal and Zelle. So if you're going to use PayPal and Zelle, our email address is going to be info@toesc.org. That's going to be info@toesc.org. And then we have Venmo. Those of you that want to use Venmo, our Venmo is going to be Issachar Bey @gmail.com. That's going to be ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. Those are the 4 ways that you can give. They're also in the bottom of the description. We have our address. If you want to send any physical things, products, or anything like that to us, letters, the description, the address is there. I want to thank all of you for your donations and for your contributions. If you're doing a check or a money order, you can make it out to the Temple of Enlightenment, International Spiritual Center. And I want to thank all of you for your kindness. I want to thank all of you for your support. And I want you to know this one thing. Your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. We're at the 6th mark. We're at the 6-month mark. We're midway. We're in the middle of the year. I want you to know this one thing. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.